Hi, Karen. Happy December. It is so wonderful to see your gorgeous face. And yeah, we're doing it on a Monday again.
Katie, happy Monday. Happy fucking December, I guess. Always wonderful to see your beautiful face. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're making it happen.
We're making it happen. Friends, we are talking a few days after Thanksgiving. And yeah, it's the Thanksgiving, energy is still kind of carrying us through, I would say.
Oh, I like that. Yes. It's a whole mood. Thanksgiving, it's a whole vibe. My Thanksgiving, of course, has been carried over because I'm in a hotel room right now.
Yes, it's quite nice. I like the lamp to your right. It's quite fashionable. Yeah.
This little faux mid-century situation
Ooh,
over
loving
here.
that little like cute, what is that, like a box,
I'm not
side table situation?
I'm not really sure. It's very odd, right? It like doesn't look like a table.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a table. It actually looks like it's like a Vitrola, like a thing that's going to become a record player. But no, I know a lot of people who are not on YouTube watching us cannot see it, but it's actually kind of stylish. I'm kind of digging it. So whatever it is.
Well, thank you. And this couch behind me is some pleather. Let's say it's pleather. Let's
Yeah,
say it's pleather. Yeah.
it's pleather. It's pleather with a nice let's see, stock Getty image, like photo situation behind you.
Oh,
Actually, it's kind of pretty now that I look at it.
it's actually strangely emulating the landscape where we are.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, I'm sure
cool.
that's in every Fairfield Inn, but we're in Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
Wow.
And it's like very, I mean, I hate to even say this out loud, but Kentucky really is lovely. And there are like a lot of rolling hills here and
Oh, that's nice.
mountains. And yeah, it's really lovely. So that is kind of sort of what it looks like outside.
I love the seamless transition into the Southern accent. That's amazing. Okay. Okay, Karen. So you were in Alabama this weekend for the holiday. And to continue on the accommodation stream, please tell me, where did you stay and how did all of that go?
So usually I had been staying at the Clarion Inn,
Which has made many,
Sheffield's.
many appearances on the pod. Sadly,
Yes,
we were not
exactly.
recording on YouTube at that time. But yes.
Oh my God, so many appearances on the pod. Then I moved over to the Hampton Inn
Nice.
in Florence, Alabama. And my bougie relatives were like, oh no, you need to stay at the Coldwater Inn in
Oh,
Tuscumbia.
oh my. Okay.
Literally never heard of the Coldwater Inn. Been going there my whole life. I You couldn't make the reservation on the website. Red flag number one.
Oh God, no. Wait, I thought this
So
was going to be like a bougie, like Ritz-Carlton Four Seasons hybrid. Coldwater Inn. No one knew.
I'm gonna send you pictures of this place because you won't believe it. Like the website, it, it looks like a plantation. It does. We get down there
Oh
and
shit. Oh
I
God.
know, it looks like it's got giant pillars and high ceilings. Like
Oh
it's
no.
it's like, yeah, it looks like a Southern ladies boutique hotel. Like it is just like overstuffed chair. It's like maximalist furniture
Oh God.
everywhere. And we get in after driving all day Wednesday, and I'll just say this: the I don't know what you'd call her at the hotel. I won't say her name. Is having a day and proceeds to spend like 20 minutes, probably 20 minutes, telling us about her night. Actually, I probably shouldn't tell this story on the pod because it was wild, but
Do you
it
want me to
involved a
edit?
young
I,
man.
I can
No,
edit it
no.
out. Okay.
I mean, actually, they'll know by now. Like her long tale of hilarious woe involved a young man having a drug crisis, flailing in her flower bed, the Tuscumbia Police Department, six EMTs, and a fire truck, all that it took to get him off the property.
Oh,
And yeah, so
at her house or the flower bed
at,
at the hotel?
at the Coldwater Inn,
Oh, oh my. Oh
at
my.
the Coldwater
And
Inn,
and she decided to give you an MLB a 20-minute dissertation about that.
I mean, it was pretty funny. I didn't mind
Wow.
it because she's hilarious.
Okay,
And
that's awesome.
it was all very funny and like just was ridiculous. And then we saw her the next night and she's like, oh no, there's more. He checked himself out of the hospital against medical advice and got two different good Samaritans in an hour try to book him a room at the hotel.
Oh, what? This is like a full-on like cold water inn stalker. What the heck? He was just obsessed with it. Wait, okay, so he rolled around in the flower bed, like just
howling
like
like a dog.
howling like a dog. Okay. Oh my, that's a
Yep.
lot. I mean, are the flower beds at the cold water inn especially beautiful? Or I guess you wouldn't have known because they were probably tamped down at that point, right?
They were nice. We were surprised actually when we walked up that they still had flower beds because it's November.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, no flowers.
Wow. So, okay, so I'm picturing stuffed all these stuffed couches and like beds with like drapes around them and like the whole
Yeah.
thing crosses on the wall, maybe not that much, but yeah.
The common areas I will say were much more ornate than the rooms. The rooms were like more or less normal.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was an experience. The Cold Water Inn. I will
Would
be
you,
staying there again.
oh, I was just gonna say, would you go back? You would.
Oh yeah.
Now that you've become BFFs with the front desk person, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that you already know her name. Like, that's amazing.
First and last.
First and last. That's incredible. She sounds great. I mean, she sounds fun.
Yeah. She's good.
Wow. Okay, so how far is Tuscumbia from Sheffield then, from where your family is?
Less than a 10-minute drive. There are like all these little towns, they're
Oh.
all like connected to each other.
Okay, that's nice. That's great. Wow. And the rest of your holiday was, did you stay there, what, 4 nights, 5 nights?
4 nights.
Okay. How was the rest of it was Thanksgiving?
Yes, exactly. Right. Like all the things you expect. MLB and I cooked part of dinner.
Nice.
We survived. I know, and it was actually delicious. I'm so proud about it.
I'm so proud of you too. Oh my God. Moment of silence for just appreciation.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. That is so
Yeah.
awesome. I'm so happy for you two. And I'm glad that you're okay in, and now I forgot the name of the Kentucky town. Shoot, Shepherdsfield?
Shepherdsville, sure. I think Shepherd
Shepherdsville.
something. Yeah. Yes. I will say the last thing I will say about my weekend is MLB and I took a tour of the only Frank Lloyd Wright house in Alabama,
Oh, that's cool.
which is in Florence. And I'd done it before, but of course it was a new tour guide this time, and she said different things. And it was just the two of us on the tour.
Oh,
It
that's
was
so
really cool. The
fun.
Rosenbaum house. Yes. Beautiful.
That's so awesome. I'm so happy for the two of you. Like, that's so, I mean, it's so beautiful to go to Frank Lloyd Wright houses. Like, that's like, you had a private curated tour. I mean, how awesome is
Yes.
that?
I know. It's very true. And it's like this design, this was the first, or not the first maybe, but like these are Usonian homes. And
Oh,
they're like for middle class people, like, Frank Lloyd Wright was designing for very wealthy people and institutions. And these were like these middle class homes that you could build onto as your wealth increased. So there's an addition on it. And that was the idea that like this was an affordable, more affordable Frank Lloyd Wright house that you could build onto as you expanded your family and made more money.
oh my God, I love that. I also makes me like Frank Lloyd Wright more because I know he's some of a problematic figure in the way that he treated women, but also, I mean, it's just that's amazing though that he created homes like that. That's really cool. And so the home that you saw, what is the name of it again? The name of how you
The
say it?
Rosenbaum home. It's the
Rosenbaum?
Rosenbaum family. Yes, he built it for a couple.
Got it. That's so cool. And it's a type of home that he made, like the
Yes. Oh, yes. It's Usonian. It's like US
Usonian.
of North America, I think is like it's some right word he made up. Usonian, though, is the
Oh,
type of home.
cool. And the Rosenbaum house, did it have multiple additions that you could see? Like that, did they end up having more wealth over time after he made the original?
Yes, they added, so there's one addition on it that like almost doubled the size of the house.
Oh, damn. Okay, so they did pretty well later on. That's great. Does he make the addition or is it just like it's just available for an addition of some sort?
He designed it apparently, and like it's really hard to picture this, but this is in the,
Oh.
I think the addition was maybe in the 50s or the 60s. And so the wife was in touch with him. I don't think he ever actually came to Florence, Alabama. That was one question I meant to ask. I think he did
Oh.
this all like through the mail and by telephone. Like he designed the
Wow.
home, but I don't think he ever went to Alabama. But yeah,
That's
and the wife knew
fascinating.
exactly what she wanted. It's really, it's like, it's kind of designed like a tiny home in the sense that like every, which you know I'm obsessed with, like
Yes.
every space, there's no empty space. Like everything has a purpose to it. Everything has drawers. All of the walls were cabinets. Like there's this teeny tiny very sad kitchen that had a ton of storage in it, and then she got a larger kitchen. Like yeah, just in
Wow.
the sense that like it's very utilitarian in the sense of like how the space is used. It's beautiful, but like it's also very practical.
Oh, that's so cool. I really want to look this up now. I mean, that's really awesome. I just love, I also like with you describing it like in so much beautiful detail, it makes me wonder if you ever want to live in a Frank Lloyd Wright house sometime, Karen. Because nope, okay, no, no, no.
Only because, and I don't know how it works. I mean, they're all on the National Register of Historic Places, but I just,
Yeah.
being from Chicago, Oak Park is a suburb of Chicago where there are a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright homes, and there's so many limits on what you can do to fix them. Like they don't
Oh,
always hold up very well. And
oh, yeah,
so people end up with these like multi-million dollar homes that like that they can't renovate even to like
yeah.
fix them. So I feel like I've read a lot about problems with homes, and that house, I don't know how they got away with it, but they basically took it completely apart. So it was termite ridden and the flat roof had collected water, so there was water damage. They took it apart and put it back together
Wow,
to renovate,
wow.
yeah, to refurbish it, like
The fact that they
because
were even able to do that because it's a historic home, that's amazing. Wow. That's really, really cool. Makes sense that you wouldn't want to live in one though. Like if you want to add a sunroom or if you want to add something else that you were excited about, it's kind of like having a really restrictive HOA, like more restrictive than any HOA, basically. Because Frank Lloyd Wright, like devotees are no joke. Like they are like, that is a subset of society that is like, like, I mean, I only say that because I've been to Taliesin West a few times in Scottsdale, which is so beautiful. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's like basically his home base for his design school when he was going back and forth between Chicago and Phoenix. And I mean, it is spectacular. But like, I think some of the people on this tour had been there like no less than like 75 times. And I was just like, because they knew all of the answers to everything. And I mean, you can get a membership and it's very cool. I'm not even no shade at all, honestly, but like, yeah, I'm sure that if you renovated a Frank Lloyd Wright home, you would get some feedback.
yes, yes. I have some input for you.
Yes.
Yeah. There is one in Chicago you can stay in. It's the Emil Bach House.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they have like weddings and stuff there, and then you can actually stay in it. So I guess I could like test it out if I really want.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So I'm glad that you and MLB had a great time. I'm glad that you're safe and enjoying your beautiful hotel in Kentucky with all of its gorgeous decor. So my weekend, it was great. We had a really nice time. We went to a friend's place for Friendsgiving, and it was all homemade Indian food, which honestly, everyone made a different dish. No one is actually Indian, but we just decided that we wanted to make Indian food. And Tyler made dal makhani and chicken tikka masala, and a bunch of people made different. I mean, it was honestly delicious. It's my favorite type of food, and so I was like in absolute heaven, and that was really really fun. And then the rest of the weekend, I did some yoga. I went to a Christmas market. I went out to brunch. It was just very relaxing. And yesterday, I went to my dance class, and Karen, it was so much fun. But then I came home and we needed to clean our garage. And the cleaning of our garage, I won't get into the detail because I will snooze everybody out. But basically, like it took 4 hours. And by the end, Tyler and I had so many bumps and bruises because we just like hit ourselves or like stub our toe or whatever. But the worst was that I walked outside and I rolled my right ankle. And so now I'm like, I was supposed to go to dance today and I'm just going to take it easy. I'm going to ice it. It's going to be okay. But I'm just like, but the one thing I have to talk to you about has to do with my plants, Karen.
Oh no, Katie.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
no.
okay. It's actually okay. It's just interesting because basically what happened was I went out to brunch with two of my girlfriends, and it's a thing that people know about me that I have a large amount of plants. I have probably more than 100 plants in my house. Many
You
of them,
hit 100?
I think I did hit 100 actually. Yeah, well, that includes like some that have been propagated into water that are like ready for planting. And so it's kind of a shocking sight for most people that don't come to my house. They're just like, oh shit, you live in a greenhouse. And I really love all of my plants. And I don't think I realized how much because I was telling one of my friends, these two women that I was with, I was like, yeah, if you ever want to come over, I actually have some plants that I'd be more than happy to give to you because, like they're kind of extras and I need to use the pots and whatever. Like I was just like, it was very casual. So they were like, well, actually, can we stop over on our way home from brunch? And I was like, yeah, totally, no problem. I honestly felt totally fine with it. So I text Tyler and he's watching like the Michigan game or whatever. And I was like, hey, we're going to be home in 10 minutes. Our friends are going to come by and get some plants. So I come inside. I don't know what it was, Karen. I was either like hyped up on green tea or something, but I was just like a fucking Tasmanian devil running around my house, like, oh my God, you could take this one or you could take this one. And oh, this one is great too. And my friends were totally overwhelmed. And one of them took two, and that's great. Like she took two of them. She knows me a little bit better than the other friend. And then the other friend took nine.
Wait,
And
wait,
yes.
what?
Well, here's the thing. I was like, hey, you could have this one, and then this one's ready for soil, and this one. And so anyway, I was so hyped that I was like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm so glad that you're taking these. This is so great. And then I like help her load them into her car, and then she drives off. And then I come inside and I'm like, what did I just do? I'm like, oh my God, I gave away 10% of my plants. And like, oh no. And I'm honestly not mad at her at all. Truly, like it has nothing to do with her. Honestly, like genuinely, like if she could have taken much more than that when I like was pointing out the ones that were on offer, but like I'm like I think it took me like 24 hours to get over it because I'm realizing that I have this very close relationship with my plants. I have cultivated them. I have loved them. I talk to them. We have like, moments together. They bring me so much joy. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just got rid of 10 of my babies. And it was 10 actually. She took 8 and then the other friend took 2. So it's okay. There are some of the rooms that look a little more bare. Tyler's like, I can't tell at all. I'm like, not helpful. And like because he doesn't know all of the plants. Like I'm the one who takes care of these plants. Oh, by the way, I have a plant nanny coming to my house on Wednesday to help me decide on the placement of some. And yeah, that's how
Oh my
that's
God.
next level that I am. But I don't know what to do about this grief, Karen. I mean, I will say it has subsided significantly in the past day, but yeah, it's weird.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll come back to that. The plant nanny. I don't remember what episode it was, but we talked about this, that like surely there's somebody in the world that will come to your house and do this. I think it was during the great fly
Oh,
epidemic.
yes. Oh God.
But
The root
or
aphid infestation. Yes.
or maybe before, but okay, that's very exciting. And yes, the grief, of course. Like, I mean, you're giving them a new life with someone else who will clearly enjoy them. She wouldn't have taken eight. It's like
8.
she was at a plant store. I feel like
Yes.
yes, she wouldn't have taken 8 if she wasn't going to give them a good home. And you were spreading the joy of them out in the world.
Oh, that's actually really helpful. Thank you for saying that. Like, genuinely, that's actually really helpful. Thank you, Karen. I really appreciate your empathy and also your positive spin because you're right. I keep thinking she better not fucking kill those plants. I'm going to go up to her primary bathroom and like find them, like, which I'm not. I'm really not. Like, of course not. I just have to trust that they can take care of themselves and she will be good to them. She is texting me a lot of questions about drainage and watering. And so it's okay.
I mean, this could be the start of a new thing, right? Like that you share the beauty of plants with other people.
That's so nice to think of. I've thought the opposite of I'm never giving anyone a plant again.
Oh my God.
But you're totally right. You're so right. That is a very like generous mindset. I don't think I'm there yet, but maybe I am.
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
totally.
Maybe it's better for me to create like a subset of my plants, like my plant babies that I'm like, these are the ones I'm always going to give away, so I'm not going to love you as much. It's like maybe
Mm.
when people breed animals, like they're like these dogs are going to be my dogs, and then, I don't know, that's not nothing actually is a good analogy because no one gives a fuck about their plants as much. Like,
Oh my gosh, they're foster plants. They're your foster plants.
yes.
They are temporarily in your care, and then you are sending them out into the world. Okay, so wait. All right, so maybe I misunderstood this. She didn't just take like the ones that you're like, oh, I'm propagating these, like take them. She took like some of your like, these are my, these are my primary collection plants.
Yeah, she took
Ooh.
some of the ones that are in soil, which I did offer because
Ah,
they're small and they're not in like fancy pots or anything like that. But like,
okay.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
I think that I didn't realize that the ones that are in water, I really do have a less attachment to, but the ones that are in soil, like I have had them in water and then I put them in soil and then I wondered if they were going to make it in soil and then they started making it in the soil. Anyway, I know that we're losing listeners by the second right now, but like I might go to a plant therapist next. I mean, I'll let you know how the plant nanny goes on Wednesday.
I mean, there are people who can relate. I feel like I'm with you. Oh, yeah. No, it's hard because when you propagate, you kind of just don't know what's going to happen. And like the joy of like, oh, okay, you rooted. We're doing the thing. You're going to
Yes.
make it. You're going to be a plant. I feel like you were part of the plant's journey. You were an important part of the plant's journey. And now that plant's journey has taken it elsewhere. I'm trying.
Yes. No,
I feel
you
it.
are. I really appreciate this, Karen. I really, really do. And you're right. I was part of the plant's journey, and it was their destiny to be at my friend's house.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Or back with you. Honestly, like,
well, that actually is another thing because a friend of mine, I had given her a propagated plant years ago, and she's like, "Hey, it doesn't really fit in my house anymore, and so I might just give it back to you. But is that weird?" I'm like, "No, are you kidding me? I would be so happy to see my baby again." Like, so
yes, is the circle of life cycle?
yes,
Yes.
totally. Okay, thank you for humoring me and sending me so much love on this. I really appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually relatable, but like it's okay. Like that's just my thing. So,
I think a
there's
lot
that.
of our listeners have our plant parents, and I know like I have given cuttings to people. Like I will also say, like, I have plants that I feel very emotionally attached to. I have so my father's mom, my paternal grandmother
Oh,
passed away in like 2000, maybe 1998, 99. I can't believe I can't remember the year, but years ago. And I have plants of hers.
are you serious?
Oh yeah, like I have plant babies of plants that were hers. Grandmother Mert was her name, Mert. So I have Mert's plants. I've given away cuttings of Mert's plants. I have cuttings of plants from my mom's best friend who passed away when I was in high school. Like it's a thing. Like they really, if you take care of them,
Wow.
obviously they just keep houseplants can keep going, obviously forever. It's crazy to think that, but yeah, I have my grandmother's plants.
Oh my gosh, Karen, that's actually so beautiful.
Great
Thank
to
you
have
for
them.
sharing that. That's incredible. And like, do you feel like an emotional connection to that plant? Like
Oh
oh,
yeah. Well, and I used to have just one main one, Mert. I call the plant Mert.
yeah.
And it like in my like 2 apartments ago, it just like Mert just gave up the ghost. I don't know what happened to her,
Oh
but
no.
yeah, and I was so heartbroken that I had like killed this plant, right?
Oh.
And it was the weirdest thing. I just kept watering it and it came back. Like
No.
it was dead, dead, dead. And no, and then these little like shoots came out of it. I know it's the weirdest thing. It's kind of creepy, but Mert came back from the dead, and yeah,
Resurrected. That is amazing. Oh my God. I'm
yeah,
genuinely so happy for you. That's incredible. So wait, did you then cut away the other parts and then you just
yeah,
kept the parts that were growing? Oh my God, that's
yeah,
so beautiful. It's like a second generation grandmother plant.
yes. And now she has like a bunch of babies. Yeah, I got to think about how many different versions. I feel like after that happened, I was like, oh, I got to have a couple of these going in
Yeah,
case one
for
of them,
sure.
you know.
For sure. Some backups. Oh my God, that makes me so happy that you've had plants for more than 20 years. That's
Oh yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Wow, that really gives me so much hope. Thanks, Karen. That's really incredible. If you take good care of your plants, I mean, it sounds like you're a total horticulturalist. Horticulture? I don't know how to say that, but yeah.
Some of them are on the struggle, but you wouldn't say that if you saw them right now. Some of the move was hard on them, but
plants get so angry when they're moved, even to different rooms. They're just like, no, bitch, not into this. I'm gonna make you think I'm dead, and then I'm gonna come back to life. That's happened to me so many times.
Oh my God.
It has. It's a thing. Oh my God. Thank you so much for talking. I actually feel exponentially better knowing that you have a 20-year-old plant at your house. That's incredible.
More
Wow.
than 20 years.
More than 20 years.
More than, if you think about it, like my grandmother had that plant when she was alive and living in her own apartment. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm just talking about when she passed away. I don't even know how old that plant is, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
I have no idea how old that plant is.
This makes me think that I should include my plants in my will. Like,
that's like not a joke. You
seriously. I have a few that are like really thriving and enormous. And actually, Tyler and I have it on our list to make a will in the next few months. And so just because it's something that we talk about every like 6 months, and we're like, why do we not have this? Whatever. And so, okay. All right. I'm going to put a pin in that. I'll get back to you if I'm going to put my plants in my will, because legit, why not?
I mean, really, like they are possessions like any other, like not like any other possession, because they're alive.
Right. Totally. Wow. Okay. This is amazing. Thank you. This is actually giving me a lot of life to think about this.
This is the most morbid thought. Listeners, I promise this is not what this week's show is about. So, slight tangent. MLB loves the podcast Lore, Lore.
Oh, okay.
It's like about folklore and legends from around the world, and it's like kind of creepy sometimes. And we listened to an episode on the road about inurement, being inured, which is a word I did not know.
Oh,
being buried alive.
What? Oh, what?
And that like the whole culture of like, oh my God, oh, it's so creepy to even think about. But like, basically, in some cultures and some periods of time, it was a punishment. And in some ways, it was like a honor to be like, oh, you've gotten buried with the pharaoh or buried with the whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And in some cases, it was a way to keep structures. Like it was believed that like you're a sacrifice to the spirit of the bridge. So you're a human pillar in the bridge. So you're built into the bridge and like built into like pillars of big buildings. And so like,
like a physical bridge, like you're like built in. Oh my God.
So like when they do excavations or renovations to these structures now, they find remains in them. So my morbid thought was that like, Katie, you could be buried in a greenhouse. Just take your plants with you.
Oh my God.
Not buried alive. But I was thinking the plants would be buried alive.
The plants would be buried alive with me. Wow. This is okay. I have so many questions about this. Because I mean, yes, to the buried in a greenhouse for sure, because I love that. Then like someone can be taking care of all these plants. It's like everything stays. I don't even know if I need the plants to be buried alive. It's just like my plants could be just like living amongst me. Love that.
Oh, an actual great. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm with you. I love that.
But I could also will the greenhouse to then like the greenhouse could be, I don't know, like a endowment or something that it has like people have to continue to take care of it for like many, many, many years.
Yes.
I don't know. This is very interesting. Also, okay, so back to the bridge thing, because like, so basically people were like, I want to sacrifice myself for a bridge. And so I would be buried alive in a column of the bridge. This is, I mean, I think that's amazing, but also fascinating. I actually think it's really fascinating.
It is fascinating. I started to tune out a little bit on the like people volunteering to do it. I'd heard the punishment part and I heard the like structural integrity part.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they would like trick people into doing it.
Oh God.
Also, yeah. Okay. So that's like not so cool. But yeah, there was like an honor to it. This is the part that was like really creepy to me, is like the whole idea of Vestal virgins.
I don't know what that is.
Ancient Greece, they were priestesses who like kept the temple of upkept the temple of the goddess Vestia or Vesta. Somebody's screaming at their player, who was like supposed to be like one of the patrons of Athens to protect Athens. And this flame, the flame on her hearth always had to be burning. And so they had these
Oh.
women whose job it was to keep it burning. And of course, they couldn't be distracted. And so they had to be virgins because sex is
Ah,
distracting.
got it.
Vestal virgins. So the punishment for breaking your vow was to be buried alive, because it was like illegal to actually kill them. So they couldn't really punish them. So yeah, they'd bury them alive.
My gosh. That is so intense. This is a real thing. Wait, is this in mythology or this is an actual thing people would
Oh
do?
yeah, this is an actual thing that happened in ancient Greece.
Oh,
Ancient Greece is wild, man. But yeah, I mean the whole, whether or not you believe in Greek gods and goddesses, but they actually were priestesses, and they actual, like, that whole thing is real.
wow. Wow. Oh my. Damn. That is, my
Oh,
goodness. Oh gosh. I need to look this stuff up though. That's chilling. Wow. Okay. I don't know how to segue from that, but yes.
we don't have. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, we're good. Okay. We have a few minutes and that's
Okay,
perfect.
right. Okay.
That's perfect. Okay, so the idea it's so fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. Honestly, like I'm going to love Vestal Virgins. Okay, so the idea today really kind of has nothing to do with what we were talking about, which is totally fine and tracks. But basically, the idea that I had was to like have faith or trust in your future self, that you will be able to, no matter what, like you will be resourceful and you can just trust that you will be able to handle whatever comes your way. So this is the reason for this is one thing, which is I have a day job that I've had for a few years. It's a contract position and I have a very strong intuition that it will end by the end of this year. And when it ends, the facts of the situation are that the majority of my income will also end. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to throw up when I'm telling you this. But basically, I have been freaking out, like just naturally freaking out. It's been very ambiguous. There's a possibility that it won't end, and but whatever. Anyway, the point is that last night I had this really great dream and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was going to text you in the middle of the night, but I'm so glad I didn't because I'm so glad that I did not wake you up. But I was like, I must tell Karen about this idea for this pod. And the reason why is because this dream I had was actually really beautiful. It was all about like travel and abundance and like not worrying about things. And I felt like so much of myself. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like everything's going to be okay. And I woke up and I journaled about it and like, I think the truth is that regardless of what happens in this job, I will be okay. I will find something else. I am resourceful. And I think that like there are so many um there are so many voices in my head that are like, well, what if this? What if this? What about? Oh my God, you're never going to, whatever, like fill in the blank. And I just think that this might be relatable to others because you don't have to just extrapolate it to a job. You can extrapolate it to anything. If you're worried about something that's happening in a week, month, year, could happen, never might happen, doesn't matter. Like trusting in that, like you have strength and you're actually a powerful person and like you can do the thing that you're not sure how you're going to do it until you get there, and just having faith in your future self.
I just wanted to let that land for just a moment. I just love that so, so much. And I love that for you. And I believe it. And I feel like it reminds me of this idea that like we harp on the bad things that have happened to us and think that like that is somehow going to portend our future. Like, oh, these bad things have happened to me in the past. Of course, bad things are gonna, yes, they are, but amazing things have also happened to you in your life and will continue to happen to you. And you've gotten yourself this far. Like all of that bad shit, you got through it and look where you are.
Totally.
In general, you. And I just love that. I love that that came to you in a dream and yes, gave you that energy and that like insight. That's so cool.
Thanks, Karen. I so appreciate that. And I'm so glad you relate to it. And I have to give credit where credit is due, which is to my therapist, who this all came about a couple months ago, which has nothing to do with my job. But like, I was telling her how I get so like freaked out sometimes when Tyler's not home, and not even when he's not home, just when when he is home. And it's like sometimes I get so scared at night that like I will have an intruder or something like that. This is like a thing for me that I've always thought. And she was like, well, what if you do? This is my therapist saying this. And I was like, what? And she's like, well, what? She wasn't trying to like discount my fear. She was just like, well, if you do, that will be really traumatizing. And then you'll get therapy about it. And then you'll move through it. Like, just like that. And she's like, you just have to trust your future self, Katie. And I was like, damn. I'm like, that's like, so you're making this so cut and dry. And like, she's like, yeah, that will really stink. And hopefully nothing happens. But if it does, you're going to figure it out. And I'm like, you're right. Okay.
Oh man. I mean, it's like the magic of your mindset. Like
Yeah.
if you think you can get through anything, things that happen don't seem as bad. I mean, I hate to say it that way
That's
because
so real.
things are really shitty and shitty things do happen. And that like what you have control over is your reaction to it and your behavior around it and what you do with it. And I feel like I've really tried to keep that in mind about like, I mean, I also have a ton of fear about work and all of these things. And I just think like, I just have to like remember like it's gonna be okay. It's gonna suck and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's so real. It's gonna suck, and yeah, it's gonna be okay. It's like we're actually so much stronger than we think we are. And it's like it's really about anything. Like it's about like if you have to have a really hard conversation with someone and you're freaking out about it and you're like, "Oh my God." And like, yeah, it could be really, really hard. Yeah, it might not go in the direction that you want it to go. It might be worst case scenario, but after that, you're going to be okay. You are going to figure out a way to like feed yourself. Like you are still a whole person no matter what happens to you. Like, yeah, I mean, I know that there are extenuating circumstances where I cannot say like, if something, I don't know, I'm trying to like put everything in this bucket, but like things that you just in general worry about, existential crisis stuff, like you're actually like think about like what you worried about. I mean, one thing that helps is like if I think about what I was worried about 5 years ago, I'm like, wait, I don't even know. I don't even know what I was worried about 5 years ago. I'm sure a lot of things, but I don't know.
Exactly. Well, and though so many things. And trying to I don't want to, it sounds corny to say to think about the positive or accentuate the positive, but like I had a very hard conversation with somebody and she was very accusatory about my fear. Like
Ooh.
all I heard from you was fear. And I've been ruminating about this conversation a lot. And what I realized now is that she didn't recognize my courage. Like, yes, I have fear. It is natural to have fear. And I'm pushing through that fear to get some shit done. Like, I also have a ton of bravery around it, a ton of courage. And like,
Yes.
I feel like it's easy to like not see in other people. Like, I see that you're afraid, but I see you're pushing through it. Like, all she saw was you're just afraid. And it's like, well, I'm afraid. You should be more afraid. And we're going to get through this. And I'm bringing a lot of like courage to this. And I feel like I was so hurt when she said that. And
Oh.
it's taken me a couple days to be like, you know what? I did have fear. And yeah, like I said, I also had a ton of courage and wisdom and like, ugh.
Yes. Yes. Also, like, I think it's incredible that like you're acknowledging that you were hurt by that conversation and you're like digging deep and saying like, wait a minute, I had so much courage. Like you're like actually like giving yourself that gift of like also positive affirmations to yourself. Like that's so important. Like it's not coming externally. This person sounds like it was a rough situation and like but like you can dig deep enough to actually have that well inside of yourself that it doesn't have to be external and you can be like, oh, you know what, Karen, to yourself, like you are courageous, you are an absolute goddess badass, like that's incredible, Karen. Honestly, that's hard for a lot of people to get to that place where they're actually giving themselves props.
Well, and thank you for saying and it's like your dream and your like mindset around this is like giving yourself props and like you future Katie got this. Like it
Yes.
might not always be easy, but you totally got it. And I think also I wonder, like, I don't know if you experience this, like once you go there, it frees your mind. Like I feel like if I am freaked out about something, my options suddenly feel super limited.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And once you're just like, it's gonna be okay, like all of these things come to you.
It's so true. When you really sit back, like you just even like sat back, like that is the feeling because it's like, oh, you know what? Like you're just like, you're more open versus like constricted and like narrow and all of it. Yes. 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 Oh my God. Absolutely. Wow. This is deep shit. Like this is actually awesome. Thank you, Karen. Okay, wait, before we go, because I know we have to go, I want to, and I know we didn't talk about this off pod, but are you open to talking about this new exciting project that you
Oh,
have launching? Because I would love people to know about it.
oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Thank you for asking. Oh, thank you, thank you. And I hope that you will be involved in some way. We'll talk about offline.
Yes, I would love that.
So um I will talk about more details later, but listeners, it is called the Feminist Writers Society. Right now, we are just on Instagram. I just bought feministwriters.com, feministwritersociety.com. I have not done anything with it, but there's a page about it at rebelliousmagazine.com. And the idea is it is the gift of time to write. So starting Thursday evenings in January, I think I'm going to do 7 Eastern time
Okay.
for 80 minutes. We'll come together, introduce ourselves, talk about what project we're working on, and then have like 28 to 30 minutes of just like quiet writing time. And then either talk about what we wrote or not, get feedback or not, or talk about the process of writing. And then that's it. And yes, in a future episode, I will talk about the motivation for this and inspiration, including you, Katie. And it really, it builds it checks a lot of boxes for me right now. I feel like I haven't given myself the time to be creative, and you have to make the time for it. It's not something that just happens. So
Yes.
I'm excited about it.
I am so excited for you, Karen, and I'm excited for this
Mm.
community that's going to be created because of your beautiful idea. Like this is incredible. I think, and it's all virtual. That's important for people
Yes.
to know. So anyone can join. And yes, and you can find the information on rebelliousmagazine.com. Like that is, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I mean, I put it on my Instagram and I already have someone who's like, "Oh, I think I have a client who wants to join." And I was like, or is looking for a writing community. And like, and it's also like, even if you're not, I mean, I don't know, do you have to be a professional writer? I assume, yeah, no.
No, just anybody. And you don't even have to be working on a project. Like if you just want to journal more, or if you just want to like create space to just like get words on the page, I feel like that's part of it too. It's like, yes, you don't have to be a
Yes.
professional writer. And oh, and it is $12. I wanted to charge something because I feel like it adds accountability. If you make things free, people feel like you're more likely to show up if you've paid for it. And
Definitely, definitely.
right, and the proceeds benefit Rebellious Magazine as we move into our next chapter in 2024. Changes are coming, and I'm very excited about them. But yes,
Oh, that's so
launching
awesome.
January 11th, I believe, is when Feminist Writer Society will have its first.
Okay. I'm so excited, Karen. Congratulations on this new
Thank
creative
you.
endeavor that's going to help so many people. And I can't wait to be involved. Absolutely. Like this is
Yay.
awesome. I'm so excited. Okay, I know we have to go. But thank you everyone. This has been a really fun time, and we will see all of you next week.